So, Warhammer. Whether you're joining me here from the recent announcement of Henry Cavill and his TV show for Amazon, which I'm sure all my fellow Warhammer fans are very excited about, or you're just passing through and you've ended up on a bit of a YouTube rabbit hole, or you're just kind of interested in the setting, kind of hoping you guys can learn from this video. So today, I'm gonna kind of give an introduction to the Grimdark future. Grimdark kind of being a term coined for Warhammer. It's kind of literally as it sounds, grim and dark. It's just a bit edgy, right? And that's what brings some of us to the hobby. So today I'm gonna start with this. This is the Imperium of Man, and the Imperium of Man is kind of in a state in the 41st millennium. I'll be honest, it's not great, but none of the factions in 40k are really having that good of a time, save maybe for the orcs, but they are a completely different topic for another video. So humankind is kind of ruled by this guy. Yep, I know he doesn't look like much, big giant corpse, but that is due to a civil war that took place 10,000 years before in the 30th millennium, known as the Horus Heresy, which, should the channel go well, uploads go well, I will make it its own series. It is one of my personal favourite parts of the hobby. He was injured by his favoured son, Horus, as in the name Horus Heresy. He is a psyker, which means he has a psychic connection to a thing called the Warp, an alternative dimension made of pure psychic energy. And having that connection grants you a whole range of psychic powers and abilities. And he is the most powerful psyker that humanity's ever had, to the point where humanity actually kind of worships him as a god, which before he was put on this giant golden throne was actually against his teachings. But again, that is for another video. So, humanity is currently led by this guy as obviously the giant corpse emperor. He cannot give orders, he doesn't really communicate. He does on rare occasion, but as of right now, humanity is led by this guy. This is Robuti Guliman. He's a 12-foot tall demigod and is actually one of the Emperor's own 18 sons, returned from the dead in order to save the doomed Imperium from the High Inquisitor's corruption. But enough about that. Gods, demigods, corrupt politicians, that's not what I want to tell you guys about. I want to tell you guys about the regular people and how they live. So, humans in the 41st millennium live in things called hive cities, on hive planets, which kind of look like this, and this. Billions of people live in within these structures, and they dig deep into the ground. And if you're wondering what the living conditions are like, let's just say that their main food source is corpse starch. Everything gets recycled in the hive cities, including you. Most hive worlders, that's what they call themselves, hive worlders, never actually see the sky in their lifetime. Most of them don't even know what the surface looks like, or even that there is a surface world. That's how deep these cities actually run, and the density of them is just absolutely ridiculous. People born into these cities already kind of have their fate lined up for them. They're already put into the factories that their family work in, or the manufactorum, which is where they make things that get sent off-world: tanks, supplies, bullets, guns, etc. Now don't get me wrong, even in the 41st millennium, there is still a divide amongst classes, and the higher class definitely do live the higher life. Quite literally, in the hive world, the more noble you are, the higher up you live. But other than that, you just get access to better food, you get access to actual food. The mass-produced planets, some mass-produced planets have just cows that are bred on the planet. The whole planet is dedicated to that. They get access to stuff like that. Better living conditions, and in most cases they even have an extended life through biological and bionic procedures. In the 41st millennium, people can live up to a few hundred years. If that doesn't sound like your cup of tea, then if you're really lucky, you could probably end up one of these guys. These are the mighty Imperial Guard, made up of millions upon millions of just regular humans. These guys are humanity's main army and make up the bulk of humanity's forces. Their weaponry ranges from the standard Ashu gun to their tanks, more importantly their tanks, and even bigger tanks, and to even their shovel. No, no. I should warn you, there are plenty of memes in 40k. Me personally, I'm going to try and use the memes that I don't think are annoying, because some of them are, and I also don't want to insult any faction fans, because I understand that the hobby is for everyone, and if there is an insulting meme, I don't really want to go through that. Anyway, millions of guardsmen are murdered every single day. Every day. With ease, really. What commits these horrors? Well, these. And these. These. And, well, remember the warp that I mentioned earlier? Well, this is some of the entities that reside there. So yeah, they don't look great either. There is nothing really in the 40k universe that anyone would want to come up against in real life. But that's what drives people to like the Imperial Guard and even play them in the tabletop game. Some people like that aspect of humanity can't do much, but we still persist, we still survive. And to me, I think it's one of the greatest parts of 40k. Sure, everything is terrible, but humanity still goes on. A lot could be said about some of the other races in 40k as well, in the same manner of they go through so much but they still persist. But I would like to point out, in the grim dark future, there is only war, and thus everything. No one is good. There is no. I would not say that personally there is any good guys or bad guys in 40k. Everyone's just trying to survive and accomplish their own goals. Humanity doesn't have the greatest life. I'll say it again, but this is what coined the grimdark term. It's how the setting came up with the grimdark name in itself. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm Brother Captain Petrino. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll stick around. Next time, I'm going to cover a big one. I'm going to cover the poster boys of 40k. The one and only Emperor's Angels, the Space Marines. Have a good week, guys. Thank you so much.